live. We are live. We are live. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mr. Soulofaman. Whenever you watch this, whenever you see this, this is just basically called "You Are Going to Win," because now you are in the season where you're not a your biggest competition right now is yourself. Seriously, your biggest competition is you. You're when that person that you look at, you see in the mirror, that is your biggest competition. Let me see if I can. What did that do? Oh. Yeah, so the person that you see, the person that you see in the mirror, that's your biggest competition right now, because there's about to be uh how to describe this. Things are going to think there's about to be a great windfall that's coming in your life. Things are, you're about to be blown. You're about to be that wind is going to shift you in not just the right direction, but in the most righteous of directions. This is not a time to be in play mode, because about to get you're about to get very, very, very busy. As things, you see things changing in the world. Things are not just changing for you in a natural, they're changing in a supernatural way. Seriously, like I myself have just been getting um I I myself have been getting as prepared. I have been getting as prepared as possible for what is to come, in my life and beyond. And this isn't something where you're just gonna say, oh, I'm gonna, like people who get a gym membership at the beginning of the year, and, like, I don't know, they forget all about them. So this is something where you're gonna, this is brand new. Like, this is like the second half. Like, this is your, so you imagine you showing a house and nobody's showing up, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna try it again. I hear somebody say, well, if you move somebody in the house for a year and blah blah blah, then you're trying to sell it, put it in the market, it'll sell, something like that. So now, you've been living in this, you're now living in this new space, and you're quantumly, fundamentally about to be put on the market. You're really and truly about to be you're about to be put on the market. And yeah, so there's no, naturally, for you in the now, there's there's no stopping. There's just going to be a constant flow, and you're about to get, you're really and truly about to get busy, man. You're going to be so happy. You're going to be so filled with grace for what is to come in your life, in the now. It's almost like you've been pursuing this happiness. You've had your ups and downs, you've had your wins. It's like wins, like whatever you call that in your life. And fundamentally, you are not someone who gives up, who quits. Anybody else who would see your life, live your life, they probably would have thrown the towel long ago. But now it is time. It is winning time. It is now it is winning time. It is just that winning is not just a winning season. You're about to become a dynasty. Let me put it in sports terms. You remember when LeBron went down to Miami to get talents to South Beach. It was like, not one, not two, not three. That's going to be you, but you're actually going to be doing it. I'm talking about. I'm just. I see somebody winning awards after awards and just being. I see you just being like this marquee. I see you just being like this amazing, marquee individual. Somebody who the sun shines, the moon shining. It's just going. It is. It's just naturally going to be incredible. For it's just naturally going to be incredible for what is to come in your life. And you're going to give people an amazing opportunity. When you go out and you're talking in front of people, everybody in that audience is going to look different. Everybody in that audience is going to look different, but they're going to be there for you. The man, it's like that. I don't think you can play music, can you? No. It's like the Usher song, like it says, spotlight, big stage, 50,000 fans screaming in the rage, paparazzi flash. That's gonna, that's gonna be, a big part of your life. Getting deals done and finally having the right people show up for you, like you show up for other people. So it is showtime. It is showtime. It is your time. It is going to be surreal. I was thinking about this this title came to me earlier this morning, and I'm thankful for it. And it is showtime. It is overtime that the spotlight be shown on you. And if this is your first time watching, we have books for sale. I'm an author, or just like, author speaker. Many hats. But anyway, Soul of a Man, Portrait for the Mind, Body, and Soul. Dream the Impossible. Also, Princess Destiny and Her Magical Natural Hair. So, if you want to get one of these amazing books, hit me up. Just leave a message down below or email me at demon129@yahoo.com. But all right. But there is so much that is going to be. There's so much that has been being revealed to you probably over the last few years. Now over the next few months, you're going to see, if you're not already seeing the culmination with it. Um, this process this process has been processing for a while now. It really has, and it's, I'll say this, that it's been a long, it's been a that old song says it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. People are gonna. There's a guy back in the day named Robert Johnson. He could play the guitar. Might have been in the early 1900s, anyway. So they say he went to the crossroads and made a deal, and then he came back, and he got a few years. He played the guitar. If you saw the movie, I'm trying to think of the name of that movie. The last movie Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler put out. If you saw that movie, the guy playing the guitar, it was almost like Robert Johnson in a sense. Kind of, maybe kind of sort of based around that character. But yeah, it has really and truly, it has really and truly been a long time coming, for you. And so now, I think I was saying this last time, it's time for you to take a bow, because it is time for you to go out and fundamentally win. It really is. It's so easy, especially like if you have like free time on your hands, to get down on yourself, to, I don't know, to just like wanna, I don't know, sleep, watch TV. But now it's time. Now it's time to put in that work. It really is. Now we come now. It's not. This is not a. This is not a big reveal. This is a great reveal. You know, this is going to be. This is going to be a great reveal for you. In the now, like really and truly, this is going to be a great reveal. Feels like it's like feels like it's heaven sent. And it feels like so much is. It really and truly feels like so much. It really and truly feels like so much is about to be restored, you know, naturally in your life. You know, it's you have a great purpose. You really and truly do. You know, you have such a great purpose if nobody ever told you that. You are so needed in a time with if the times we live, it feels like we live in minefields, you know, because you watch social media, all these crazy people out here just doing the weirdest stuff. You know, it feels like we live in a land of minefields, but even that cannot stop you. You know, seriously. You know, even in a time where everybody wants to be seen and everybody wants to be a somebody, and in their own way they are, but everybody's not meant for the biggest stages. You know, everybody's not meant for that. You know, people, but I'll leave that alone. But for you, for the person or people that I'm talking to, whenever you see this, this is yeah. So this is your winning season, man. This is what's going on, Miss Sweet. How are you? I'm gonna, I promised myself that I'm gonna start going live, especially on YouTube, because ain't nothing happening over on the other app. You know what I mean? So yeah. But anyway, but yeah. So I was talking about the title is this is that you're going to win, and you not just win. You're going to win extremely like big. And people when they meet you, it's gonna be like, man, where in the world, like I've been looking for someone like you for so long. I know you probably heard this before, but anyway, they're gonna say, man, I've really been looking for someone like this. Amazing team ups, amazing, just amazing team ups, amazing togetherness, amazing people who are gonna help to push you to the stratosphere, and you're gonna help them. These are gonna be the people that you've always wanted to be surrounded with, not just people who come in and do stuff half-assed, and people who just want to come out, just hold their hands, and of course, they when it all, when it all gets out there, and like what you're doing and who you are now, and people are just gonna have to realize and understand that you're not that you're just not that same person that you were, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you were in high school. They're just gonna have to understand that. Now, I was born in New Orleans, but I grew up in a like smaller town where people love to hang on their high school. I don't know how to even. They're like their lackluster high school. Like they were so popular in high school, and that was the pinnacle for them. That's where they plateaued. Whatever it is that they're doing, that's not our business. But you can, you were the dreamer. You always had your heads in the clouds in the sky. You always knew that you were meant and purpose for greater things in this world. It didn't happen for you when you were in your, I don't know, 20s or 30, whatever. It didn't happen for you when you were younger. Now you're more mature. You know that you're guaranteed, not just guaranteed, but guaranteed that you have the official stamp of approval on your life. This is something that you've been waiting for, like really and truly. This is something. Hey, what's going on, folks? Thank you for joining me. I think we're gonna. I think I'm gonna do a part two to this tonight. Yeah, later on tonight. But anyway, so this is something. Yeah, this is something that you've been waiting for. And if you know anything about manifesting, if you know anything about prayer, if you know anything about God, if you know anything about, you know, I'm trying to think of the word. If you know anything about miracle, we talk about miracles and this and that and all of that, but you are the miracle walking, and you are, for your faithfulness, for your diligence, for a time like this, you are going to be greatly rewarded. I know, day to day we deal with this, we deal with that. I understand it. I still have to go through stuff too. I still have to have a mindset for the daily things that I have to do, and and all of that. Still take it one day at a time. I can't, I don't have the ability to fast for a time, even though it feels like time is just moving. But um, you have great abilities, which are going to turn into greater abilities to go out and do these things. You have been for the trials and tribulations for the times that we're living in. I don't know what you would want to title the times that we're living in. It's a lot of madness out here, but you have been stamped for. Just feels like a lot. It feels like a lot is feels like a lot is coming your way. It just feels like doors opening, grand openings, repurposing. Dream dream titles. It's like this. Where's the book at? You were the impossible dreamer. You were. Let me see if I can put that up there. You were the person dreaming the impossible the whole time. You keep elevating. You keep elevating, and you keep elevating, and that's it. That's what it is for you. You are. You're not a person that comes from great wealth and this and that, and you were not, if people look at you, they'll be like, I remember somebody told me, like when I was at home, that was years ago, they're like, oh, hey, this is such and such, this is, blah blah blah's youngest kid, and they were like, oh, I didn't know they had a youngest kid, so that's how that goes. That's how that went. Like if I told you more of my story, it's just my story is just trial and overcoming, trial and overcoming, trial and overcoming. I'm not saying trial like I've not like I've been in a court system and like anything crazy. Not traffic tickets, but anyway. But for me, it's like stop and go, stop and go. But for this time, nothing stops. This is going to be so real, but it is going to be for real. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe and follow. This is going to be so real. This is going to be for real. This is not a time for you to go out and you get great. You've been in this kind of mediocre lane, but the I don't know. It just feels like if you've ever saw that movie, I think it was like Bruce Almighty with what's that man's name? Jim Carrey. When he had God gave him his powers, and the traffic split. Like the story with Noah. What's it Noah? No, Moses, where it split the Red Sea. So it's like that. So it's like everything moves, everything shifts, everything gets out of your way, everything moves. So like so you're in your vehicle, so you can get to where you need to get to, and you can get there fast. So it just feels like time is. It just feels like time is moving. Time is moving faster. It's like you have this circle around you, and you have these divine letters. You know how people go and I don't know, they go to college and they get letter. I don't the thing with the letters in college, but it's just the greatness that has been instilled in you is coming out. So you're moving forward to a coming out party. So Don't be surprised if your summer is busy. Don't be surprised when your calendar is booked. Don't be surprised when your Rolodex has all of these names in it, and people would kill to get to people would kill to know these people. Top business people, CEOs, A list this. You're going to be, I guess it's just to say, baby, you're a star. That's just what it is. You're a star. You're a reader for the stars, and that's what it is. Yeah. And today, this is brought to you by the Holy Ghost. I don't know. I've been tapped. I just had to say that. But just to say that, like how somebody else says, I'm not on here for a long time, but a fun time. So, yeah, but go forward, and I'm just things. It just feels like, when you were younger, somebody's like, hey, what's two plus two? What's two times two? What's you were. It just feels like the math isn't basic anymore in your life, and that it just feels like your struggle is over. It does. It really and truly. It's like you've been running this race. You've hit the finish line. You rested. Now it's time to start the real marathon of your life. And so I will leave you with that. I will really and truly leave you with that. Enjoy your Thursday. Moving into Friday, I will be back a little later on tonight. We'll have part two to this. Is that you are going to win. That's basically why I came on here. I tried to go live on the other thing, but that wasn't happening. But you are going to win, and not just win, but you're going to win big. You're going to win in ways that, like, I remember I used to go to church and they used to say, like, it's big, it's beautiful, and it's humanly impossible. Like, seriously, even with all of the technological advances that we have, internet and cars are now flying and their electrical power, all of that stuff. Like, man, the miracles that supersede you in your life, your prayers. It's like everything has been written. Everything, you're coming to what is the juxtaposition of the first inevitable climax in your life, to shoot and propel you to something greater, to shoot and propel you to something greater, and to something more, to something more. It's like, hey, could you come out here to the, we're having this event for whatever, and we need you to come and speak. Oh, hey, we're having this. I know it's short notice. Don't worry, we'll pay you your fee. We'll fly you out. Blah 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 blah, and we'll have stuff where you could, you know, how many books do we need to order? That kind of stuff. Not so it's like people. It's like this just this grandiose event that is for you for now, for now, really and truly. It's just this, man. I don't know who sing this song. Here comes the hot step, word up. Here's the lyrical gangster. I see you hot stepping, man. I just see you hot stepping, red carpet ready, just amazing. And people gonna be blown away. They'll be like, oh, look at such and such, and then they're like, some people are just, well, how did I get that? Be a lot of questions, but oh well. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how long have I been on here? About 24 minutes. Yeah, I think that's good. But yeah, we'll be back on here tonight for part two, for You're Gonna Win. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will holler at y'all. I'll holler at y'all a little later on. Later on tonight, but 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, y'all. Peace.